I want to talk about something that most people feel, but almost nobody admits out loud. The quiet, humiliating experience of loving someone more than they love you. Not because you're weak, not because you made a mistake, but because you felt something real, something deep and honest and true, and you gave it to someone who just didn't feel it back. Not the same way, not with the same intensity, not with the same willingness to be all in. And somehow, without anyone saying a word about it, you both knew. You knew it in the way they responded to your texts, a few words where you gave paragraphs, a casual reply where you've been thinking about what to say for 20 minutes. You knew it in the way they made plans, last minute, on their terms when it was convenient for them. And you said yes every time, because saying yes meant getting to be near them, and being near them was worth almost anything. That's where it starts. Or right there, in that tiny compromise. That first time you rearranged yourself to fit into their life. And it snowballed, didn't it? One compromise became two. Two became 10. And before long, you were living in a version of yourself that had been quietly edited, piece by piece, to be easier for them to be with. Less needy, less emotional, less you. You stopped bringing up the things that bothered you because you didn't want to seem difficult. You stopped asking for reassurance because you didn't want to push them away. You stopped expressing what you actually needed because somewhere along the way, you got the message, loudly, clearly, without a single word being spoken, that your needs were too much. So you made yourself smaller, and you called it patience. Here's what I need you to understand about power in relationships. Power doesn't come from being cruel. It doesn't come from being manipulative or calculating or cold. Most of the time, the person who holds the power in a relationship isn't even aware they have it. Power comes from need. The person who needs the relationship less, who could take it or leave it, who has one foot in and one foot out, that person holds all the cards, not because they're stronger, but because they have less to lose. And when you have less to lose, you move differently. You speak differently. You make decisions differently. You don't panic when things get quiet. You don't overanalyze a 3-word response. You don't lie awake at night running through every conversation trying to figure out where it went wrong, because you're not that invested. But the one who loves more, they feel everything. Every shift in tone, every canceled plan, every moment where the energy feels slightly off. They feel it like a change in weather, in their chest, in their stomach, in the way the whole day suddenly feels different because of one short reply. And so they work, constantly, invisibly, to keep the temperature right, to not rock the boat, to be the kind of person that's easy to love, even if it means abandoning the parts of themselves that are complicated or messy or real. The saddest part isn't the imbalance, and the imbalance happens. Feelings are rarely perfectly equal. The saddest part is what the person who loves more starts to believe about themselves. They start to believe that their love is the problem. That if they just loved a little less, if they just needed a little less, things would be better. They start to believe that wanting consistency is clinky, that wanting effort is demanding, that wanting to feel chosen, genuinely, actively chosen, is somehow asking for too much. And so they internalize it. They take the emotional temperature of the relationship and decide that the coldness they feel isn't coming from the other person, it's coming from them, from their expectations, from their sensitivity, from the fact that they care too much. They weaponize their own love against themselves. I've watched people do this for years. I've done it myself. Convinced myself that wanting more was the same as being ungrateful for what I had. Told myself that love was supposed to be hard, that the struggle was proof it was real, that if it came easy, it probably wasn't worth having. But that's not wisdom. So that's a story we tell ourselves to justify staying somewhere we should have left a long time ago. Real love, healthy love, doesn't make you feel like a burden for having needs. It doesn't make you feel like you're always one wrong move away from losing everything. It doesn't require you to be permanently auditioning for a role you already supposedly have. Real love feels like safety, like being able to exhale, like being known, fully, messily, completely known, and chosen anyway. And I know what some of you are thinking right now. You're thinking, but I've felt moments like that with them. There were good times. There were moments where it felt exactly right, where I felt seen and wanted and like everything was going to be okay, and I believe you. Those moments were real. I'm not taking them away from you. But a relationship cannot survive on moments alone. Love is not just a feeling that visits occasionally. It's a decision that gets made every single day. Marhan, if the person you're with is only deciding to show up for you some of the time, when it's easy, when it's convenient, when they feel like it, then what you have isn't a relationship. It's a highlight reel with a lot of painful footage in between. So what do you do with all of this? First, you have to be honest with yourself. Not brutal, not self-critical, just honest. Ask yourself, if this person loved me the way I love them, would anything about this relationship look the same? Anna, would I still be making all the first moves? Would I still be the one initiating every deep conversation? Would I still feel this constant low hum of uncertainty about where I stand? If the answer is no, then you already know what the truth is. You've probably known for a while. Second, you have to grieve it. Not just the relationship, but the version of it you wanted, the potential you kept believing in, the person you thought they could be if they just loved you back the right way. You have that grief is real and it deserves space. Don't rush it. Don't perform being over it before you actually are. Sit with it. Let it move through you. Because on the other side of that grief is something important. Clarity. And third, and this is the most important one, you have to reclaim what you gave away. Your time, your energy, your softness, your willingness to love deeply and fully and without reservation. Those are not weaknesses to be ashamed of. They are not character flaws to be corrected. They are extraordinary gifts. And you spent them generously, beautifully, maybe a little recklessly, on someone who didn't fully understand their value. That's not your fault, but it is your responsibility to stop doing it. To stop handing the most precious parts of yourself to people who treat them as optional. To hold out, even when it's lonely, even when it's hard, for someone who recognizes what they're being given. Because that person exists. Someone who will text first sometimes, who will make plans and show up for them, who will notice when you go quiet and ask what's wrong, who will choose you, not just when it's easy, but when it costs them something. Someone who will make you wonder why you ever spent so long trying to earn something that was always supposed to be freely given. You are not too much. You are not too emotional. Once you are not asking for too much by wanting love that is equal to what you give. You are simply someone who hasn't found their person yet. And when you do, you'll understand that everything you went through wasn't a waste. It was just a long way to someone who was worth it.